Hello Year 7. Today is our last lesson for this topic and we are using fractions and percentages to compare two quantities. Fractions and decimals can be used to compare different quantities. Ratios are based on fractions and they can be used to compare the parts of a total. So the types of questions that we're going to do are down here. Example number 1. Express the following as both a fraction and a percentage of the total. So for part A, we have $40 out of a total of $200. As a fraction, we have $40 out of a total, so that means we write it as a fraction, out of a total of 200. Okay, so that already is a fraction, but we just need to simplify it. So I could divide the top and bottom by 10 to cross off those zeros. So that gives me 4 out of 20. And then I could divide each of those numbers there by 4, giving me a 1 out of 5. Okay, so 40 out of 200 is the same as a fraction of 1/5. What about as a percentage? To write it as a percentage, we have 40 out of 200. That was our starting fraction before. Remember that a percentage is always out of 100. If I can change that fraction to have 100 on the bottom, that means the top number is my percentage. So all I need to do is divide 200 by 2 to get 100. And 40 divided by 2 gives me 20. Okay, that would be the equivalent fraction. So that means that is 20%. Part B, let's do another one of these. We have 24 green ducks out of a total of 30. So we need to do both the fraction and the percentage again. So as a fraction, that is 24 out of 30. And we can simplify that by dividing the top and the bottom by 6. 24 divided by 6 goes 4 times. And 30 divided by 6 goes 5 times. Now let's do this as a percentage. To turn it into a percentage, we want to make a fraction out of 100. Now if we work from the fraction out of 30, that's actually going to be much more complicated because 3's don't go very nicely into 100. But this fraction here, the 4 over 5, would be a much easier one to work from. If I start with 4 over 5, I could easily convert that to be out of 10 by doubling the top and the bottom, so that would be 8 out of 10. Then I could times by 10 to make 80 over 100. And now because it's out of 100, that means that that is 80%. One more question, question 2. A glass of cordial is 1 part syrup to 9 parts water. Okay, this is an example of a ratio. Now altogether, that does mean that we have a total of 10 parts. Okay, because there's 1 part of syrup and 9 parts of water. That's 10 parts. So in A it says, express the amount of syrup as a fraction of the total. Well, 1 part was syrup out of the total of 10 parts. So that would be a fraction of 1 out of 10. Part B says, express the amount of water as a percentage of the total. Now the amount of water, there was 9 parts water out of the total of 10. And I want to make this a percentage, it says. So that means I want to be able to write that out of 100. I could do that by timesing the top and bottom by 10. 9 times 10 is 90, and 10 times 10 is 100. So because that is out of 100 now, that means it's 90%. And that's it.